When you get to play a game that makes you happy, it's almost like nothing else matters. You'll ignore family members, friends, loved ones, whatever. It's much more fun to just lose yourself in the digital world and screw everything else. Certainly sounds like a good way to live to me. Even the best of the best are not infallible, however. In short, they have sections which are an absolute pile of shit. My name is Simon Miller, and this is 7 rubbish moments in great video games that made you want to rip your eyes out. Number 7, Halo 3's Cortana. Now, really, I don't even know if Halo 3 was a good video game when I think about it in 2018. I remember that a lot of the levels looked the same, and the mini sandboxes that Bungie had built kind of all blurred into one after long. With that said, it still took all the good of the first 2 games and made it work, and the fact it was on the uber successful Xbox 360 was enough to get everyone excited and sing its praises. The multiplayer did this especially, and that's where the credit was deserved. If you were only getting into online play at this stage, there were few games doing it better than Halo 3. Given it came out a couple of months before Call of Duty Modern Warfare was released and changed the world, it more than held its own as well. However, Cortana, the penultimate stage in Halo 3, is so bad it makes me want to kill myself. It's not only repetitive, but it's almost impossible to navigate your way through it because its design is just so bad. There's no flow here, and the developer seems intent on stopping any momentum you have over and over again until you'd be better off smashing your head into a wall. Also, it looks like, well, you know, genitalia. Both male and female. What's that about? Either way, it sucks so bad, and I wouldn't blame anyone if they just gave up here and never finished Halo 3. What's the point? Number 6, GTA 4 and the phone. Grand Theft Auto 4 is a great video game. There seems to be some nonsense that it's an awful entry in the franchise, but that, to me, is revisionist history. Rockstar, as it usually does, changed expectations here, and they set the bar for what we should expect from open world titles going forward. One huge misstep, though, was when someone somewhere decided that main character Nico should have a cousin called Roman, who clearly had only just discovered what a phone is. Because of this, he rings you incessantly throughout, asking you to just do menial things. No, I don't want to go bowling, you asshole. I'm knee deep in story and setting, and you're pulling me right out of that because you don't understand what spamming is. It's not like you can say no either because you get punished for it, and Roman gets all upset. How is that fair? I already have 100,000 things to do, I don't need one more, which is frankly meaningless. Just stay at home and jerk your chain, Roman, but then don't ring to tell me about it. The social system in GTA 4 just doesn't work as intended, which is why it eats into the things you want to be doing, and that's a shame. Some people say this is the equivalent to Mexico and Red Dead Redemption, but they are crazy. All of Red Dead is of course brilliant. Number 5, any game where you die if your AI partner dies. This is just bullshit. Who came up with this crap? Given that artificial intelligence is nowhere near where it needs to be to make this work anyway, why developers continue to include it, I don't know. My success or failure should never be in the hands of some idiot that runs around a level like they have no clue what's going on. The fact you have to try and do these segments to progress is just mind-numbing. It happens all the time as well. Resident Evil 4, Ico, Resident Evil 5, cheers Capcom, XCOM. For some reason, there's this idea that having to rely on someone who is not real will result in entertaining fun, but it never does. It's like babysitting, and no one likes babysitting, especially when it's not your child. There ain't no love there, just trying to get on with a job. If this vanished from all games tomorrow, no one would care, and that goes for Fetch Quest too. I don't want to run around playing Delivery Boy. It's meant to be escapism. Get with it. Number 4, Mario Kart's Blue Shell. I love Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart 8 is a masterpiece, and the Nintendo should treat it like Netflix and just constantly release updates for it. That's how solid and great the gameplay is. It just needs more content, and it makes me happy all the time. With that said, no one can pretend that fucking blue shell isn't the most infuriating thing that's ever happened. There you are about to win because clearly you're the better player, and you're mere inches from the finishing line when whoever is in last place hits you with this travesty of a weapon, causing you to finish in 4th. It's maddening. It will make you want to rip your own face off just so you don't have to witness it ever happen again. I'm 99% sure that's the plot of the John Travolta movie. They're just pissed after playing Mario Kart. It wouldn't be so bad if it was second place that slammed you with one of these, but it never is. It's always someone who doesn't deserve it, and that's just not right. The worst bit is never going away. It's too entrenched in the foundations, and Nintendo enjoy having it there. So just accept it, and remember every now and then, at least you'll be on the other end of this. Number 3, Mass Effect's Mako. While Mass Effect 2 was the real high point for the series, what EA and BioWare introduced in the first game was pretty darn special. An RPG that was clearly keen to evolve and try and drag the genre into the modern day, it set the groundwork for the excellent sequel and won over a lot of gamers who decided this was a series they wanted to invest in heavily. Everybody involved understood that too, and they built a trilogy around this idea. You were gonna go on a journey and have sex with a lot of aliens along the way. Who doesn't want that? even if it's really odd and creepy. Mass Effect certainly wasn't perfect though, because the Mako, a futuristic space buggy, was utter wank. Trying to drive the thing was like pulling teeth, and every time you had to get in it, the missions were so dull. You went from fighting among the stars to being involved in some geography lesson. It always felt like such a slog to drive it around, and you just wanted to skip these segments and return to space warfare. But no, you weren't allowed to do that. You had to suffer, all because I guess one of the tick boxes on an office whiteboard was, must have vehicles. No, it doesn't. Stop playing to type, Mass Effect, and just do you. I swear. Number 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and disarming bombs. No one will agree with this, mostly because no one thinks that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES is any good. That's fair. It's an incredibly difficult game filled with parts that are pretty much broken. You can smell the fact it's been ported from an arcade machine where the sole idea was to get as much money from you as possible, because even one button press results in death. I like it though, mostly because I was a stupid kid that both loved the Turtles and only had this in my collection, so I just returned to it time and time again. Because of that, I found a way to get good at it. It was basically like my version of Dark Souls, and every time I got further through it, I felt a great sense of pride. The issue there was when Konami asked me to swim under a dam and disarm bombs within a time limit. Not only was this hard anyway because the controls were not pretty, but the layout of this stage was just stupid. It was near impossible to swim through the tiny gaps that had been mapped out for you, but for some reason even seaweed caused you to lose life. The hell is that? Aren't I a fucking turtle? When did a fucking turtle ever die because it touched some seaweed? What was going on down here as well? There were bombs, weird electrical currents, and obstacles designed to hurt. Also, why did I have to have sex with the bombs to disarm them in the first place? This is as bizarre today as it was back in 1990, and there's no point trying to play it now. I don't think it's worth a reduction in lifespan. Number 1, Batman Arkham Knight's Batmobile. I think the third entry in Rocksteady's Dark Knight trilogy is wonderful and an easy 10 out of 10 experience. It's like a Batman simulator that gets almost everything it does right, and some of the set pieces it throws your way are beautiful. Just remind yourself of what we used to get when it came to the Cape Crusader and games, and then count your lucky stars. All of these were incredible. What was definitely a mistake, however, was how the developer used the Batmobile in Arkham Knight. Rather than just have it as something to enjoy to ensure the complete DC Comics experience was here, there was some need to tie it right into the gameplay, and that just didn't work. Some of the grappling concepts were alright, but the constant tank battles where you had to sneak around Gotham City were no fun, and they featured far too much. The real low point was a huge battle towards the end of the game where this was the sole focus, and it soon became a matter of getting through it rather than just enjoying yourself, and that sucked. The rest of the Arkham Knight was so awesome it didn't matter, but it would have been even better without these, even more so if the Batmobile was just a means of transport. But what can we do? Nothing. Now please do head on over to patreon.com/Simon316 to support these videos, like, share and subscribe, leave a comment below where you get all mad, and then come back soon so we can have another chat.